All right, blend game. Let's get to that. Hashtag Octavia Spencer blend. I'm going to go first. And I was going to say that the movie that I was going to pick was Gifted, which is a really good movie that I think people sleep on. Solid Chris Evans film.
Wait, so this is not your pick?
It's not my pick because I don't think that I don't consider that an Octavia Spencer movie, essentially. I think she has a good supporting part in it, but I think it's largely a Chris Evans movie. So I'm going to go with Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures is a story I didn't know. We got to see it in Toronto when they had it as part of a promotional marketing event. It blew me away, the way that those actresses all came together. Janelle and Taraji and then Octavia Spencer all played off of each other really, really well. I learned a lot about that time period. I thought it was great the way that they all played off of each other and their relationships were really, really strong. I thought it used Octavia Spencer to the best of her abilities. If I had to pick a film that I thought was my favorite of hers that was going to be into, I'm going to go with Hidden Figures. Jakey.
It's a great movie. I picked something that I didn't necessarily think I was going to, but I picked Luce.
Oh, which I haven't seen, but everybody raves about.
If you haven't seen it, just an incredible film, and probably her, not just her best performance, but her most layered, complicated, difficult to peg character. In a film full of complicated, layered, difficult to peg characters.
Can you tell me what the synopsis of that movie is? What is it even about?
So it is about a high school student, black high school student who is adopted by two white parents. Mm-hmm. And he comes from sort of this war-torn country, and at one point he was a young child soldier. Okay. And he Octavia Spencer plays his teacher, his high school teacher, and they kind of just butt heads about a lot of things. And I don't want to give too than it gets...
That's enough, yeah.
It gets very complicated.
Okay.
And there are no easy answers, and it's not tied up easily into a bow. You're sort of left going like, okay, where do we go from here? Okay. It's like life. It doesn't just stop. But it's an incredible piece, an amazing performance on her part. Not an easy role to pull off by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, so that's my pick. And if you haven't seen it, an incredible film.
Kev, Octavia Spencer blend?
Hands down, Hidden Figures.
Yeah.
I mean, I have never in my life been so ashamed of myself for doing something. I'll tell this quick story. I think I've told it before on the podcast, but I was not ashamed of myself. I felt like I messed up, but this was the point of the movie, and this will all make sense. So I was honored to be able to go to the White House when President Obama was giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom out. I've told this on the show before, I'm assuming. I'm sorry if I have. And
when Spielberg was there?
Yeah, on the docket that day was Steven Spielberg, Barbara Streisand, James Taylor. James Taylor, is that? Yeah. And Katherine Johnson. Mm-hmm. And I'm in a room with President Barack Obama. I mean, we're in the White House. I'm in I think it was the East Room, or I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've never been
amazing
in it was unbelievable. Yeah. Like when I get this email saying that President Obama is awarding the Presidential Medal of Freedom, they sent me because Steven Spielberg was there, and they knew that I wanted to see Steven Spielberg. And I'll never forget being in that room, and while President Obama, I mean, I'm 50 yards away from everybody. They're right in front of me. I'm in the same room as everybody. But before the event started, I got to walk up and see the Medal of Freedoms. I got to touch them. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
So he awards the Medal of Freedom. He puts it around each person's neck, and has a great speech about it. And one of the persons there was Katherine Johnson. And I remember in the back in my head, I'm like, oh my God, it's Steven Spielberg, it's Barbara Streisand, and I'm geeking out. And I hear him talk about Katherine Johnson, but I'm not processing it. You know what I mean? I'm kind of in my own mindset. Again, I was geeking out. I've never been to the White House before, except for when I was a kid for a little tour. I'd never seen Barack Obama, in that setting. It was pretty amazing. But I just didn't concentrate on every detail that I wanted to. And I'll never forget, I ended up being able to interview Spielberg there and Barbara Streisand, and I left the White House, and I was super excited. I put the package on the air. I felt really happy with how it went, and I was, done for my day. And then Hidden Figures comes along, however long it was afterwards, which the entire point of that film was the mistake that I made that day, which was not paying attention to Katherine Johnson in the sense of she was a hidden figure, right?
For you that day.
That story was not known to me, and I did not understand how brilliant of an individual she was. And I'm honored to have been in the same room with her now that I look back on it. But I see the film and I immediately, or see the trailer, and I immediately think to myself, hold on a second. Is that the same Katherine Johnson that I was in the room with? Mm-hmm. And then I go see the film and I'm like, oh my God, I would have loved to have talked to her. You know what I mean? I would love to have interviewed her. And so I guess the point I'm trying to make is that the movie,
bless you,
the movie itself was, the purpose of that film was to tell that story and make people understand who these incredible women were. Mm-hmm. And that film, and again, I'm not saying Octavia Spencer plays Katherine Johnson. I'm just saying, because that was played by Taraji P. Henson. But the reason I'm bringing this film up is because that's the story of the film. So Octavia Spencer, my favorite movie she's ever been in, is this one because of what these women did and the and the amazing idea of bringing that story to life. And so for me, that's why that's my favorite film of hers, is because it stood for something that taught me something I did not know, and it made me understand that I need to have a broader sense of the world versus just the movie aspect of it.
Fantastic. Terrific choice. Well, our very good friend Michelle Garrist, who plays along on email, she also went with Hidden Figures. Dorothy Vaughan is the character who Octavia Spencer plays in that. Janice Fields went with The Shape of Water. Matt Pasantino went with Luce, Jake's pick. And Indy Christina says, while not the best movie, I pick Ma for my favorite performance. Sue Ann was a terrible, deeply disturbed person who could only be brought to life by Spencer. My first time seeing her play a villain, and she was scary.
You know, I never did see that.
Oh, it's actually good. I kind of dug it.
I thought that the general reaction was that it wasn't good.
I don't know,
and
man.
now there seems to be this an affinity for it. But I felt like when it came out, people didn't like it, and now people talk about it. It's not even that much time has passed, but I feel like in a short amount of time, people went from making fun of it to like, oh my God, it's fantastic.
Well, I wouldn't say fantastic, but it's better than you think it is, and she's very fun in it. She plays a villain and has a good time with it. Basically, choose some scenery. All right, here we go. Next week, reaching out on Twitter using hashtag Christopher Nolan Blend. You will let us know your favorite Christopher Nolan film. We will discuss more Christopher Nolan because that's officially what this podcast has become right now, a Christopher Nolan stan podcast. You can let us know on social media at hashtag Christopher Nolan Blend, or you can send us emails at ReelBlend@CinemaBlend.com. Make sure it's your favorite. We're not trying to talk best, but we want to know what your favorite is and why you choose it.